Hello there, and a warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining me today on this heartfelt journey through lessons that have touched the lives of countless older adults, moving many to tears. These insights come from a retired professor, a figure once deeply immersed in academic research and wisdom, but now, in his later years, committed to sharing invaluable perspectives on how to live with joy, confidence, and inner peace. My hope is that as you listen, you'll find reassurance for the road ahead, new ways to lighten your heart, and a renewed sense of self-worth in these golden years. Let us begin by recognizing that growing older can be a wonderful privilege, but it also brings challenges, unexpected turns, and a need for reflection. By the time we reach our 60s, 70s, and beyond, we have experienced so many joys, losses, successes, and heartbreaks. Perhaps you have raised children, nurtured grandchildren, watched technology change the world before your eyes, and even found yourself adapting more times than you ever imagined. You have lived. You have contributed. Now is a time to reflect on what truly matters and on how to avoid pitfalls that might burden your later years. These words are meant to comfort you and guide you with practical wisdom. Let's move forward in one continuous conversation, just as if we were sitting together in your cozy living room, sharing a cup of tea. Some of the first lessons focus on the idea of protecting your peace and dignity as you age. One of the most challenging areas to navigate is financial transparency within the family. The retired professor often pointed out that money, while necessary and helpful, is also a frequent source of conflict. He discovered that many older parents, out of love, reveal all their savings and assets to their children. At first, it feels like a natural thing to do. Parents trust their children, or they want to ensure everyone is well taken care of. But he gently warns that it's wiser to keep at least part of your finances private. It's not about distrusting anyone, nor is it about promoting secrecy in a malicious sense. Rather, it's about avoiding unnecessary friction down the road. When the professor researched family disputes and inheritances, he found that a significant number of bitter disagreements and lawsuits originated from arguments over money. By keeping some details private, you preserve not only your financial stability, but also the harmony and goodwill among your loved ones. This approach reduces misunderstandings and the potential for resentment, and it allows you to maintain a sense of autonomy and peace. It might feel a little strange at first if you've always been completely transparent, but this boundary often fosters a healthier dynamic, and it helps everyone remember that respect goes hand in hand with trust. Next, we come to something extremely precious, the love you share with your spouse or partner. As time goes on, children grow up and move away. They have their own families, careers, and obligations. That's normal, and in many cases, it's what we always wanted for them: independence and success. But in this new season of life, your spouse or life partner becomes your main anchor, a source of shared memories, compassion, and day-to-day emotional support. When we were younger, love often felt exciting, full of passion, new discoveries, and plans for the future. In older age, love transforms. It becomes loyalty, quiet understanding, and genuine companionship. The professor emphasizes never to let trivial arguments or past resentments overshadow the importance of that person who remains by your side when everyone else is busy or far away. Treasure the time you have together. Show kindness. Share small joys, a morning cup of coffee, an afternoon walk, or a chat about the books you both love. Nurture your bond. You've come so far together. Honor that history. If you have found yourself without a partner, you may treasure memories of a loved one who is gone, or you may feel entirely at peace on your own. In either case, the underlying point is to foster gentleness toward yourself and others, because the precious nature of love and companionship becomes crystal clear in these later years. Another important principle relates to raising grandchildren. Many older adults pour time, energy, and even money into caring for their grandchildren, sometimes on a daily basis. Of course, there is deep joy in watching your grandchildren take their first steps or hearing them say a sweet phrase. There's a sense of continuity, passing along stories, lessons, and traditions to a new generation. However, the professor notes that many older people have confessed to feeling drained, exhausted, and sometimes underappreciated when they're left in charge of young children full-time. It can lead to physical and mental fatigue, health setbacks, or feelings of being taken for granted. He suggests that while it's wonderful to spend time with grandchildren, the role of primary caregiver might not be ideal when you yourself are entering a time of life that requires more rest, self-care, and freedom. It's all right to say no to certain requests. You have earned the right to enjoy your golden years, free from the daily rigors of child rearing. This doesn't mean shutting your grandchildren out. It means offering what you can manage while protecting your energy, health, and personal pursuits. If you happen to be widowed, divorced, or otherwise alone, the professor gives a gentle reminder about remarriage. Sometimes the loneliness can be overwhelming, and the idea of finding a new partner in your later years might sound like a good solution. But he cautions that merging two established lives, each with its own finances, habits, and ways of living, can easily cause friction. Instead of rushing into a formal new marriage, consider companionship that respects your independence and daily routines. Be open to friendships and shared activities without committing to something that could potentially cause more stress than comfort. Peace of mind, flexibility, and genuine understanding are crucial in older age. If a new marriage fits your life beautifully, that's wonderful. But if you feel uncertain or only motivated by the fear of loneliness, then taking it slow, reflecting, and perhaps embracing the freedom of being on your own may well be the wiser path. One of the most emotive pieces of wisdom is the call to never give up your home lightly. You may have heard a child say, "Mom, Dad, why don't you sell the house, move in with us, and we'll take care of you? It'll be so much easier." They may have good intentions, or they might be thinking about inheritance or property distribution. But a house is far more than just four walls and a roof. It's a lifetime of memories, a place where you truly feel safe, and a symbol of personal independence. Letting it go too soon can cause deep emotional upheaval. And if circumstances change later, you might find yourself in a vulnerable position with no private sanctuary to return to. So reflect deeply before making that decision. Remember that home is your comfort zone and, in many ways, your last bastion of freedom. The professor's studies also revealed the importance of staying financially independent well into your older years. Some retirees believe that once they've supported their children into adulthood, or once the children have established careers, it's natural for the children to take over parental expenses. While there's no right or wrong for everyone, he observes that maintaining your own financial footing can boost your self-esteem and reduce the burden on your kids. True love doesn't mean children must fully support their parents. In many cases, adult children are juggling major life expenses such as mortgages, college tuition for their own children, or unpredictably high healthcare costs. By remaining self-sufficient, you are helping maintain a healthier dynamic in which your family relationships are based on mutual appreciation instead of financial obligation or guilt. Another insight involves the delicate matter of visiting your children and their families. On the surface, the idea of staying for weeks or months might sound delightful. You get extended time with the grandchildren. You can enjoy the daily hustle and bustle of their household, and you're present for special moments. But extended visits also risk eroding boundaries, especially if your child and their spouse rarely have time alone. Even if they never say so, they might experience tension or exhaustion if you are around too long. The professor shares that 3 days is often the sweet spot. Of course, it's not a literal rule for every situation, but the point is about respecting private space. By keeping the visits shorter and more intentional, you leave on a high note, preserving mutual warmth and comfort. You become someone they look forward to seeing again, rather than a perpetual housemate. It's a counterintuitive idea at first, but one that frequently resonates with older parents who have tried shorter visits and found that it preserves harmony and closeness in the long run. Letting go of expectations for your children is another recurring theme. Modern life moves at a rapid pace. Adult children might live in different states, work demanding jobs, or have complicated family schedules. They might not call or visit as often as you would prefer. This can cause frustration or sadness. But the professor points out that constantly measuring your happiness by how many visits or phone calls you receive can lead to ongoing disappointment. It's more liberating to celebrate what you do, have rather than dwell on what you don't. When we loosen the threads of expectation, relationships often breathe more easily. People feel less pressure, and paradoxically, they may even be inclined to visit more because the atmosphere is not weighed down by guilt or resentment. Our children's lives are simply different from ours, and adapting to that reality can bring greater serenity and mutual respect. We should also talk about health and the danger of pushing ourselves to the brink when our bodies need rest. You may be used to working hard, sacrificing for family, or toughing it out through colds and pains because that's what you had to do in your younger years. But in older adulthood, the stakes are higher and recovery times are longer. Overexerting yourself could land you in the hospital, leading to hefty bills and a long road back to normalcy, if normalcy is even possible at that stage. So, the professor encourages you to listen carefully to your body's signals. If you're tired, lie down. If you're feeling ill, don't minimize your symptoms. Seek treatment or at least slow down. Let others help you without feeling guilty or embarrassed. Think of your health as the best gift you can give yourself and your family. It allows you to remain an active presence in their lives, not a cautionary tale or a permanent patient. At the same time, you've spent your whole life working, saving, and planning for tomorrow. There comes a point when you must ask yourself if you're actually enjoying the present. Some older adults remain so frugal to the point of self-denial because they grew up in harder times or simply got used to always looking toward the future. But if you're healthy enough to travel or indulge in a good meal, the professor insists that now is the time to go for it. Whether it's a dream vacation or a fancy dinner at a restaurant you've always wanted to try, why postpone joy? Life is precious, and tomorrow is not guaranteed. Spending money responsibly to enhance your well-being and happiness is a way to honor yourself. You're not being wasteful, you're living. Emotional peace is also a priceless commodity. Worry can gnaw at us, especially in older age, when we've seen life's unpredictability many times over. But worry, when it becomes chronic, robs you of the serenity you need. If you're constantly replaying negative scenarios or dwelling on past regrets, you end up reliving stress, sadness, or anger. The professor highlights the importance of letting go. That might involve practicing mindfulness, faith, or whatever method helps you lighten your mental load. Some people find journaling therapeutic, writing down their thoughts each evening to release them. Others prefer nature walks, meditation, or gentle yoga. The specifics aren't as crucial as the principle. Free your heart of the burdens that you cannot change. You deserve peace of mind. And let us not forget the professor's final reminder to never give up on looking your best, being kind, and chasing joy. There is a misconception that once we hit a certain age, it's time to fade into the background or let ourselves go. Nonsense. Take the time to dress neatly, comb your hair, wear the clothes that make you feel proud. You don't have to impress anyone, but you do need to respect yourself. Hold on to kindness as a core value. Be gentle with people, show compassion where you can, and do small acts of generosity. Not everyone will reciprocate, but kindness often finds a way to circle back in subtle forms. And chase joy in everyday moments, whether it's laughing at a silly joke, listening to your favorite music, enjoying a hobby, or even discovering new interests. A playful mind can keep your spirit youthful. Age might add wrinkles, but it doesn't have to steal your spark. Now, let us venture deeper into some additional sets of 3 that the retired professor believed could serve as guiding posts. You may find that these overlap with some of the principles we've already covered, but they add extra detail and perspective. He spoke of 3 matters you should avoid meddling in, even if your intuition pushes you to step in. First, let your adult children handle their own big purchases, like houses and cars, unless they explicitly ask for your guidance. You can share your perspective once asked, but do not force it upon them. Second, do not get entangled in family or extended relatives' feuds or disagreements, especially when they revolve around inheritance or other financial issues. These quarrels can become bitter, and you risk becoming a scapegoat. Third, steer clear of involvement in your friend's marital or romantic problems. You can listen compassionately, but if you become too involved, you may do more harm than good, and it can complicate your relationships. The professor also highlighted 3 types of loans you should avoid giving out, unless it's a matter of genuine emergency, such as a serious illness or catastrophic event. One is loaning money for risky financial ventures that promise quick or high returns. At this stage of life, you can't afford to lose significant amounts of savings. Another is lending money to people who plan to gamble with it. The likelihood you'll get it back is almost non-existent. And the final caution is not to lend money so casually to acquaintances or even relatives if you can't truly afford to lose it. The heartbreak of losing your savings, money you spent decades earning, can overshadow the well-intentioned generosity you offered. 3 mistakes you should avoid making include neglecting your health, creating unnecessary conflicts or resentments in your relationships, and helping people indirectly through complicated channels that might come back to haunt you. Neglecting your health, as mentioned, can lead to lifelong regrets. Damaging relationships at a point in life when you have less emotional or physical energy to repair them can lead to isolation. And funneling help through middlemen can cause misunderstandings or leave you responsible for problems you never intended to own. He then talks about 3 things not to wish for. Do not wish for immense wealth. Simply wish for comfort, enough food on the table, and no overwhelming financial burdens. Do not wish for someone else to rescue you from every bump in the road. Finding your own resilience and resourcefulness is a form of self-respect. Lastly, do not wish for everyone you've helped to show gratitude. Sometimes people forget, and that can be painful. But the real reward of helping others is in knowing you did the right thing, not in expecting endless appreciation. He also advises that there are 3 things you should not say. Do not lie, do not make threats or speak words that sting deeply, and do not purposely wound others with your language. Harsh words have a unique power to destroy relationships. In older age, the professor says, you simply don't need that extra emotional turmoil in your life. Guard your words, because you can't unsay them once they've left your mouth. Another trio of advice relates to 3 things you should never hold on to. Firstly, do not cling to anger. A lifetime of grudges can erode your health and joy. Secondly, do not chase illusions about returning to youth. Yes, staying healthy and active is wonderful, but wishing to be 20 again or obsessively hiding every sign of aging can strain your spirit and finances. Lastly, do not be so thrifty that you deprive yourself of living. A modest nest egg is meant to help you enjoy life, not feel imprisoned by fear of spending. There are also 3 things you should never give up on. Never give up on looking your best and staying well-groomed, because it fosters self-esteem and helps you greet the world with confidence. Never give up on kindness. Though others may not always repay it, kindness shapes your legacy and brightens your daily life. Finally, never give up on joy. It might be found in little moments, listening to birds outside your window, savoring a cup of tea, or having a laugh with friends. Your sense of delight and wonder can keep you feeling vibrant no matter the number of candles on your birthday cake. The professor cautions that there are also 3 things you should not fear. Do not fear the natural process of aging, as it's part of every human story. Do not fear being alone, because solitude can offer peace, reflection, and a chance to rediscover your strengths. And do not fear the future. None of us know precisely what tomorrow holds, but that uncertainty need not be a source of anxiety if we live fully in the present. Finally, he mentions 3 questions not worth asking. The first is someone's old job titles or positions. Once people retire, it's often the compassion in their hearts and their willingness to connect that matters more than any professional label. The second is how much money someone has, since that doesn't define their true value or character. The third is their exact age, because a truly fulfilled life is measured in contentment, not digits. If they volunteer the information, that's fine, but grilling someone about their number of years can feel invasive and reduce them to a statistic rather than a person. These reflections might seem like a large bundle of advice, but they all revolve around a few central pillars. Safeguard your health, your peace of mind, and your relationships, and do so in a way that respects not only your own dignity, but also the independence of your loved ones. Hold on to the knowledge that you are worthy of love, care, and self-discovery, no matter your age. In conclusion, the retired professor wants you to know that aging is not an end. It's a chapter that can be filled with simple pleasures, deeper connections, and clearer insight into what truly makes you happy. Embrace each day with a sense of gratitude and curiosity. You have come so far, overcome so many hurdles, and learned lessons that younger generations can only begin to grasp. Trust that your life still holds potential for growth, emotionally, spiritually, and even intellectually, if you maintain a childlike sense of wonder. Thank you for listening and for spending part of your day here with me. If these words moved you or offered a fresh perspective on your golden years, I encourage you to revisit them whenever you need a gentle reminder that you are not alone in your journey. Life may have changed from the days of bustling careers or active child-rearing, but it is far from over. This stage can be one of quiet beauty, profound understanding, and a sense of peace like no other. As you go forward, remember that the simplest acts of kindness, the smallest expressions of joy, and the calm acceptance of what you cannot control may well become your greatest treasures. Let the lessons of this retired professor guide you. Keep living, keep caring, and most importantly, keep your spirit alive. I look forward to seeing you again soon, and I wish you health, happiness, and countless tranquil moments on the path ahead.